The Arcane Guardian Battlemage is actually a really fun mod you can play in Baldur's Gate 3, so let's check it out. We're going to go level by level, all the way to level 12 with the combat tutorial and all the items you will need. So let's jump straight in with the Battlemage modded class. Gives you proficiencies with simple weapons and martial weapons, musical instruments, light armor, medium armor, and shields for all that fun stuff. Now for your cantrips, we're going to start with a firebolt and we're going to start with a rare frost. I personally just like having different types of damage based on what enemies you could have. Now when it comes to your stats, we're going to have 16 strength, we're going to have 10 dexterity, 14 constitution, 16 intelligence as this is your spellcasting modifier I believe, 10 wisdom and 8 charisma. Battlemage level 2 gives us our spelled blade, so when you deal acid, cold, fire, lightning or thunder damage using a spell or cantrip, we have 2 cantrips that deal cold and fire, that element infuses your weapon. Until the end of your next turn you do an additional 1d4 damage. Now we get our level 1 spells, and for this first spell you're going to take is shield. Basically you throw this up as a reaction and you take no damage. It's dope. We're going to take Magic Missile because Magic Missile is an amazing first level spell from the start of the game to the end of the game because it never misses and you can upscale it. So if you have one of those monsters that have either unstoppable or unkillable, the one where you have to hit them multiple times before you can get to their health pool, Magic Missile is your best friend. And Thunderwave, I swear by Thunderwave, great for pushing enemies off of ledges and all that fun stuff. Battlemage level 3, this gives us Arcane Prowess. Give bonus to saving throws from magic equal to half your proficiency bonus action concentration. However, you only get that if you were to pick the specialization. Now before that, we do have our next spell, and for this one we are going to either take Ice Knife, as this will pair very nicely with our first level ability, or Burning Hands. There are other spells you could take. You could take like Mage Armor if you don't want to wear armor. You could take Witch Bolt, but it's concentration. You could even take Rare Sickness. Choice is really yours. For me personally, let's take Ice Knife. And as you can see, Arcane Prowess is what you get with the Arcane Knight. I do have that build if that sounds like your kind of thing. We are going with the Arcane Guardian, and this gives us Spell Shield. So when you are targeted by a spell that has a saving throw and deals damage, as a reaction you may gain temporary hit points equal to 3 times the spell slot used to cast the spell. And just an incredible way to bulk up. Battlemage level 4 gives us our next feat. Now for this one we are going to go into our ability score improvement. We're going to bump our strength up to 18. Battlemage level 5 brings us extra attack. And then from here we have one more spell. Now for this one personally I like to take Mirror Image. To boost your AC up, we are going to be hitting things hard in melee. Mirror Image is a great way to boost that. 3 duplicates that each add 3 to your armor class, and when you take a hit, you just reduce it by 1 of the mirror images until you get left with none. Battlemage level 6 brings us our War Magic. So after you cast a cantrip, you can make a weapon attack using a bonus action. Meaning we could, with our cantrip Firebolt, infuse our weapon with a 1d4 of fire damage and then swing with our bonus action. As well as Spiritual Protector. Summon a floating Aegis that gives an AC 1 in a 6 meter radius. Again, this is such an uber defensive build. Battlemage level 7 gives us Elemental Slash. Enhance your weapon attacks with elemental magic to add 3 to 18 fire, cold or lightning damage after confirming a hit. If your weapon is infused with Spelled Blade, trigger it twice. Really nice ability to have. Now at this point we get another spell, and there's a few options you could go with here. You could go with a Misty Step to get around the battlefield. You could go with Scorching Ray for more fire. Hold Person, but it kind of depends how you want your setup to be. If you're going to have concentration spells, you're probably going to want to put your Constitution up to boost your concentration saving throws. Choice is really yours. I would personally take Misty Step and just double down on being the frontliner. Battlemage level 8 gives us our next feat as well as a new cantrip, and for this one let's take some Shocking Grasp. And our ability score improvement, let's bump our strength all the way up to 20. Battlemage level 9 gives us our next spell, and for this one, you know what we're going to take, Fireball. Fireball is just incredible. You know Fireball, there's no explanation needed here. Battlemage level 10 gives us Fearless Strikes, add your intelligence modifier to your damage rolls from melee attacks. Battlemage level 11 gives us some roguish almost abilities. With quick movement we can use a bonus action to disengage or dash. We also get to pick one more spell here, and for this one we are going to pick Lightning Bolt. And then Battlemage level 12 gives us our next feat. Now there's a few ways to do this. As you saw with our level 10 ability, we can add our intelligence to our damage. So if you wanted to wear like the gauntlets of Hill Giant Strength to boost your strength to 23, or want to use strength potions, then the last 2 ability score improvements, you're going to just bump your intelligence up to 20 instead. So if you don't take the ability score improvement to bump your intelligence up to 18, what you can do is come down here, and there's a few sort of ones you could take here. You could take something such as Sentinel, Savage Attacker. This would probably be my choice personally. Get this going. Now, we are using a shield for this build. If you didn't want to use a shield and just wanted to focus on two-handing a weapon, then Great Weapon Master is probably your best threat. So you have a few options at this point in the game based on your playstyle. Okay, let's go over our equipment, and we're going to take Savarok's Horned Helmet for our first bit of equipment. Constitution saving throw +1. Cannot be frightened or afflicted with other emotion-altering conditions. We also gain Dark Vision up to 3 meters or 15 if we already have it, and now we only need a 19 to roll a critical hit, as we reduce the number by 1. For a cloak, we are going to take the Flesh Melter Cloak. Basically, whenever we take melee damage, the attacker will take 1 to 4 acid damage. You could also use the cloak that causes burning to melee attacks. Choice is yours. We're going to take the Boots of Genial Striding, so whereas movement speed is unimpeded by difficult terrain, again helping us get around the battlefield. The half plate armor, now you could take many ultimate things. You've got things such as like the armor of agility, however with no dex score doesn't really seem worth it. In my opinion, half plate armor, take 2 less piercing damage, perfect. Gloves of Belligerent Skies, so when the wearer deals thunder damage, lightning damage, or radiant damage, inflict 2 turns of reverberation. We're going to take the Caustic Band, add 2 acid damage to our attacks. Strange Conduit Ring, so while concentrating on a spell, we deal an additional 1 to 4 psychic damage. The Necklace of Elemental Augmentation, so when one of our cantrips deals acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder damage, we add our spellcasting modifier to it. For a weapon, we're going to use Kethric's Warhammer. This I just love, 10 to 20 damage, and we're going to pair it very nicely with Kethric's Shield. So, +1 bonus to spell save DC and spell attack rolls, advantage on dexterity saving throws, we get Shield Bash, and a +2 to our AC. And then for a bow, we're going to put the Dead Shot just to help reduce the number of a critical to 18. Right, that is the build. Let's go find some combat and test it out. Alright, we're in combat now. Unfortunately, you can see our initiative is really bad, so we are at the end. But then, we are the tank of the group, so it's not the biggest of problems. Okay, it is now our turn, so let's get this going. Now, you can remember we have our War Magic, so if we were to start with a Shocking Grasp, get that melee damage going, our massive War Axe and our shield is now lightning infused, meaning as a bonus action we can come in here and do some damage with this. So let's do our main attack hand. There you go, a massive critical. That could not have gone any better if we tried. Okay, it's back to our turn, and again we have other things we can do, but let's just start piling out some damage. So, with our first attack, and then our second, and you can see another critical hit. That's why this build is so good. Then as a bonus action, we can throw up our Spiritual Protector. And there you go. It's basically a spiritual weapon, but it gives off this little radius. And if we go into our character sheet, you can see our AC is now 20 as opposed to 19. Okay, so you can see our little axe here. Now bear in mind it is immobile, so you cannot move it. So how I like doing this personally is if I have like my wizard with a concentration spell and maybe a range or whatever, have them at the back, put this up just to boost the AC. That protects them with their low health pools or their low AC, as well as the concentration, because that little bit of extra AC can make all the difference. However, at this point, there are still other options we can do. We can start throwing some bombs, or we can actually make our way around the battlefield. So if we wanted to get some high ground, we could of course Misty Step. And this would just help us get to areas such as this, so we could close down the enemy here. It would use your bonus action, but could be very worth it. So let's get behind the enemy lines. And we're going to come all the way over here. And now we're right next to the dude here. And then at this point we can Shocking Grasp with our cantrip, infuse our weapon, and then in the next round we'll be able to start smacking with some lightning infused equipment. And as you can see, we are still lightning infused, but we can't make the distance. But thanks to our quick movement, and it will cost 1 battle point, we can now get over here with our dash, and we can still benefit from our 2 attacks per round. And you see we gained another critical hit. And that really is the gist of this build. It's all about just throwing around some cantrips. So, for example, if we were to drop a lightning bolt with our 3rd level spell, we shock them, we have the lightning infusion, which means if we wanted to, eventually, on the next round, we can come in and smack them with more lightning. What we can do is we can do our quick movement to dash over here. And it's all just about defending your allies, getting yourself set up, and then smacking them with as much melee damage as possible. And then, because we are lightning infused, and again this would work with fire and cold, we just come in here and we smack as hard as we can. Unfortunately we did end up with a critical miss, but that is what it is sometimes. You see, big miss there. And once again we can track the enemy down, so we Misty Step over to here using our spell slots, as we really just focus on our cantrips to deal as much damage as possible. And then we get to start swinging for the fences with our extra attacks. Now bear in mind we have finished the fight, so if we just check out our spell slots and our battle points, if we were to short rest here,
Time to get going.
You'll see none of them come back. So just bear that in mind when you're doing this. But I really hope you have enjoyed this build. It's one of my favourite tankish builds you can do. I love the ability to be able to infuse your weapon and just stand there and hit things while defending your allies. So if you have enjoyed, please drop the episode a like, it helps me tremendously. Let me know in the comments below what you'd change, what other items you'd add, all that fun stuff. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel for more build guides. I've got ones for Baldur's Gate 3, I've got ones for Dragon Age to Velgard, Path of Exile 2. If you haven't already, please subscribe as I said, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.